right, today on our SRS segment, we got a special guest, Chantel Mark. All right. How we doing, Chantel?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us. We were just saying before we got on, it's been a long time. I remember you came
Yeah.
up here, God, it was probably 2 years ago now, maybe. I think you were
hmm
just getting started. We did True Talk, we did some training, and then
Yeah.
I asked Bridget from SRS. I said, give me some people that are actually out there selling IULs, selling annuities. I wanted to kind of shift focus a little bit on this SRS training. I saw your name
hmm
on there, and I was like, wow, blast from the past. So here we are. Well, congratulations on the volume. That's why you're here, because you do sell a lot of IULs, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Index Universal Life. We've talked about annuities the past few weeks. We had
hmm
Dan Grunberg on. We had John Gavin, two of the top annuity producers. But you are one of the top IUL producers so far this year. So really, Chantel, would just love to get some insight from you. Since you're writing a lot of these, I'd love for you to kind of share maybe some recent cases that you wrote. And really, I think one of the biggest questions a lot of people have is like, how do you find the IUL, right? Because when you talk
Got it.
about the concept, you talk about the products, you talk about all the different things you can do with them, from tax-free retirement, from college funding, from all these different options or whatnot. It all makes sense. But I think where some of us struggle is, okay, well, I got all that, but how do I get there, right? So you're writing IULs. Are you writing these from just your traditional life insurance appointments? Are you getting referrals? Are you doing some IUL leads on your own? Like, where are you getting most of your clients from?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know Juan Franco. I had a really good talk with him.
Yes, Juan's the
Actually
man.
been very, very consistent. I put it on my mental I'm doing a little mental challenge for a good 200 days. Like,
Okay.
I have to post a minimum of once a day. And you know that compound. So I've been
Yeah.
having so many people contacting me through have a little Calendly link and a little small little landing page, a website, and people contact me organically through my Instagram, my Facebook, my Snapchat, and whatever else I have. I'm just every day, minimum once a day that I'm posting, and they're interested, in
Yeah.
doing and getting an IUL.
Got it. So you're creating kind of organic leads. You're not doing any real lead gen, but you're just out there posting content about IULs,
Mhm.
I'm assuming, right? And then whoever is reaching out to you, that's where you're basically generating these leads from?
Yeah, and then also, doing insurance for quite some time, a few years now. I'm going back to my old book of business too. I
Mm,
nurture my clients with doing annual reviews with them, and I'm, letting them know that, I'm also specialized with doing index universals where, they have grandkids, they have kids, so I'm getting a lot of my referrals from my old book of business, my old leads that I got
wow.
from.
That's
So
awesome. And hey, if you've been here 6 months, you've been here a year, I mean, you have that book of business, right? So
so many.
why don't we dig into that? Because there's a lot of producers out there, Chantel, that have been with us, for several years now, and they're not attacking that, book
Yeah.
of business. I think we get, we back in our day, we used to call ourselves lead junkies. We were like,
Mhm.
hey, give me some more leads. It was like New Jack City.
Yeah.
Like but it was like the leads instead. We got a little taste, but we were always so focused on more leads, new leads.
Mhm.
And it's like you're ignoring this whole book of business you have back here. So
Yep.
if you can, let's talk a little bit about how you're attacking that book of business, and then maybe some of these recent cases that you've written from there. If you can walk us through, how you got from,
Yeah.
okay, I helped you out a year ago. How did you go from that to meeting with them again to find these IULs?
Got you. So I do a lot of virtual as well. So I'm just, I'm asking them, how's everything going? I like to do annual reviews. I know it's been a year or even a year and a half. Just touching bases. People, especially people who are 60 and over, they love talking, and it's more of a relation base versus just a sell. That's where a lot of people get caught up with, just like, oh, I made a check and then on to the next one.
Yeah.
So really, like, I wouldn't say I'm friends with these people, but I truly do care, and I'm just talking to them like how I'm talking to you, and then I'll let them know, what else I've been doing, and they get so excited. With a lot of people love setting up their grandkids, and telling their kids who are in their 30s and 40s about this as well.
Yeah.
So I have I have so many. I was looking at ILC. I have so many, and so many leads in there
Yeah.
that yeah. I mean, I haven't bought personally leads in for 5 months, just because I have so many book of business in there, and
Wow.
I'm whenever I do talk to these clients, when they refer me, they give me, and I tell them to, and that's where a lot of people mess up. Don't tell them, hey, give them my number. I'll tell them to put me in a group text message with their
Mm,
daughter or their son, and yeah, they, you know, they're more responsive of like, oh, okay, it's my mom referring me to this person. And it just goes from there.
Got it. So
And
you're
I
checking in. You're just calling them first, calling them.
yeah,
Hey, it's me, Chantel. We met whatever a year ago. I helped you out with X, Y, and Z. You're
yeah,
checking in, kind of seeing how they're doing. Just really, just kind of shooting the breeze a little bit, and then from
yes,
there, you let them know about, hey, I also have these other services.
yes. Yeah.
Got it. And then how?
Mm-hmm.
So how from that conversation do you uncover the IUL need, or even that referral need for another, someone else to potentially buy an IUL?
Yeah. So whenever I speak to these clients, I'm letting them, you know, I'm pretty sure y'all are familiar with like the whole infinite banking and concept. And, you know, like when people, I guess like I ran across a lot of TikTok videos about, you know, I mean, with infinite banking and how to, and then IULs. And, you know, it's really true. Knowledge is power as long as it's applied. And I
Yeah.
just kept reading about, just watching SRS, you know, videos for you guys and listening to Bridget. I don't want to say her last name wrong.
Reimer.
And Ryan Rimmer. And I'm just, you know, I'm like, man, you know, this is like, it's everything. An index universal life is everything in one.
Yeah.
I wasn't very knowledge about it with, you know, just doing a IUL with Mutual of Omaha. I thought I was doing something
Yeah.
until I realized, okay, wow, minimize the death benefit, overfund these policies. And I'm really playing with the numbers to make sure that these, you know, guys and girls are set up financially. So they love the fact that they can utilize their money while they're alive, not just to leave, you know, for just a straight up, you know, death benefit.
Got it. So how much of that are you doing on that first call, or is that first call you're setting up then a virtual appointment to go over this stuff? So I guess how do you go from that, hey, check in, to now we have an appointment about a new policy?
Yeah, it just depends how busy I am. If I'm having an appointment every hour, then I'll get all their information.
Yeah.
You know, I'll talk to them for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll commend them for looking into something like this because a lot of people don't, you know about it. So I kind of congratulate them a bit to let them know that they're really doing something with their, you know, with creating some type of generational wealth. And I get all the information, and then I'll tell them, you know, I'll either like do another meeting with them to, you know, plug them all in. And what kind of like gets the sell, like how I'm selling like 95% of everybody is, you know, like I'm taking that pressure off that, you know, you're not paying anything today because I do write a lot of F&G, and F&G does take about 5 to 7 business days to approve the client. So it kind of pushes that pressure off that like, hey, you don't have to pay nothing right now, but, you know, we'll set something up, you know, whenever you do get approved, if you get approved.
Yeah. I gotcha. What are some signs like in this first conversation where you like, what if you're talking to me, I'm your client from, you know, a year ago, what do I say? What do we talk about to where you go, you know what, this is a potential IUL? What are some of these, you know, these, I want to call them red flags, but I guess these white flags where, oh, you know, hey, this looks like an opportunity. What are you looking for in that conversation?
Okay. I mean, with a lot of, honestly, to be completely transparent, with a lot of my clients that I'm calling with my old book of business, it's more of getting the referrals because a lot of these guys are 60 and they're not healthy enough to get an IUL. It's more, I'm really selling hardcore with my the organic lead or the organic people who contact me. But my book of business, I'm getting referrals from them.
Okay, so you did a lot of final expense then. That's why most of your clients are older.
That's all I've known with FFL. Yes. Just Americo and you know,
I got you. So you're more referral based on that. Well, that's fine. So let's talk about then some of these cases that you've written off, these organic leads, which anyone can do, right? I mean, everyone has access to social media. Social media is free. It don't cost you much to post anything. A little bit of your time, right? You got to think, got to be creative. But it's the key. What anything you read, anything. It's not so much content needs to be good, but consistency is more important.
Yeah.
There's people that have great content, Chantel, but they post once a month, once every, you know, and that one post doesn't do it. Listen, if your one post doesn't do well, post another one tomorrow and then post another one. And hey, delete it and repost it another time. You never know.
Yeah. They're focused too much on the comments and the likes. And, you know, and so many people, here's a good thing that a lot of people love to hear. A lot of people DM me. They won't like it. They won't comment on it, but they will DM me. So you're not even seeing on the outside. It's what you do in private. What is, you know, helping out a lot.
Right. So you're posting just now. Are the videos mainly you explaining IUL concepts? Are you resharing other stuff? Like what is most of your content?
So good question. I do on my list. I have a mixture of, I have words over my post. Where it says like, you know, whenever you put $200 a month in IUL, what it does for you. And then my next content will be a duet. So somebody who's, you know, self-educating about IUL. And the next one will be just me educating about, what an index universal life can do for you. And then I'll just probably sometimes when I'm like super busy, I'll just post somebody by themselves, just talking about an IUL. So I mix it up with all.
Got it. So you're doing a bunch of different things, all kind of attacking on all fronts, right? And then, like you say, you're getting a lot of DMM. So from that point, someone reaches out. Is it usually, hey, I want some more information? Like, what are they usually DMing you? When they reach out?
Can I get some more information? And I'll, ask them, like, what's your full name? What's your full name, your phone number, and your email address? And then let's set up a time. What time do you typically get off of work on? And I'll pick like say Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah. So they tell me that time, then I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll contact you because remember you have to take control because people they forget and they will not, So so I'll tell them, if they say I'm available at 4:30, then I'll say I'm free after 4:30, so I'll text you at 5 and we'll.
So you're treating that DM as that's a lead. The minute they go more information, and I think that's the piece that. I think some of us hesitate or they're looking for more of an invite, right? Like from that point, once they've DM'd you, once they've sent you a comment, whatever they did, that's them expressing interest. That's the equivalent to them filling out a form. Is how you got to look at it. And that's how you're treating it. Because once they do that, you're then booking the appointment.
And be careful. What I noticed, like whenever in the beginning, like I was just playing around like to see what works, people would just send their link. Oh, book it on this link. Most of the time, well, I don't want to say most, it's a 50-50 that they, might not, because people are either just, they kind of went, that's why I take more control of doing it myself. Because even though they could just click my Calendly, put in all their information, and they don't all the time.
Oh, so you tried that at first?
Yeah, I did. And a lot of people weren't doing it. So now I kind of like, because my link is all over my page. So they could just do that. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to take control. And I did it, I'll do it myself.
And I think that's also key to any type of social media, marketing, advertising you're doing. There's a lot of trial and error. You can't be afraid. You got to be agile and you got to be able to switch, quickly, right? Yeah. I tried this it didn't work, then try something else. Because listen, there's plenty of people out there generating their own leads on social. So if you're not doing it, there's something you got to adjust. So you've learned that piece. And that's great insight because you're right. They can find your link anyway. So instead of you just sending it to them and no one's signing up, it's like, let's create a solution to the problem. Let's take more control. So I love that. So you're going right from that, whatever DM, whatever type of inquiry they make, you're going right into booking your appointment. And then how do you approach this appointment? Is it any different than these other appointments? Because this is not they didn't fill out a form for mortgage protection or final expense. They're looking at an IUL. So walk us through, once you're meeting with this client, how does that go?
Yeah. So I am setting up a Zoom call with them, and and I always give them a reminder. So let's say we booked it at 5 p.m. I'll text them. Every client, they get text 30 minutes before. Okay. Or my assistant will do it. Hey, Chantel Mark will be contacting you within 30 minutes. And then, whenever I'm on the phone with these guys, it's a completely different conversation than just a regular life insurance policy. Yeah. Because, like they want something different. They love the fact, again, you can utilize your money while you're alive, retirement, so many, things versus just a death benefit. So when I'm talking to my client, I'm just asking them, like, for one, I commend you for, doing something like this, and, tell me what your goals are and what is it that you have currently. So I kind of probe them a bit. If they have a 401k, if they have a retirement, if they have life insurance, and then we start, we pretty much just get all into it. And my highlight, my key thing with telling them is a lot of people, what's the cost? Before they even asked me that, though, I was getting that at first, but now it's big on like how much do you want to put in every month, or what is your goal, and then we can I can show you how that looks. Yeah. And I don't know if you know about F&G. I love the fact that they can. Or I think all the IULs. I write mainly with them, but they can increase it. They can always decrease it if they're having a really bad month. But they love the fact that it's pretty much their like hidden Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, and they can log into their portal and kind of control on their end versus a basic life insurance policy. Got
it. So approach little different, but really, you're still gathering their financial information, right? So now you're doing a full financial inventory traditionally, or?
Yeah.
Got it. So you're still doing the financial inventory. So the only thing that changes is the need, right? They didn't reach out to you for final expense or mortgage, but you're treating the whole process the same. And I think that's why you've been successful at it, because even from, again, the minute they DM you, you treat it like a lead. The minute you start the appointment, you treat it like any other appointment. You're going through the financial inventory. You're finding that need. It's just a different product. It's no different than you're used to selling final and you start selling mortgage. The process is going to be about the same. It's just something different we're talking about. Are the objections any different? Do you get any objections with these the organic leads, or are you not seeing them as much there?
I'm really not. Yeah. They really get excited about this. I think this is more, to me, a bit easier than you know, when I was doing the final expense and mortgage and all that, just because they love the fact that, you know, it's everything in one. Yeah. You know? So I'm just trying. I'm even trying to think, because I mean they really don't understand, or they don't know all the ways. So they don't really give me pushback, or I feel like I've told probably everybody except there's those who are like, okay, well, let me think. You know, you have the thinkers. Let me get back to you. Yeah. And you know, but other than that, everybody's hopping on this. Right. They want something different.
Yeah, that makes sense. And honestly, the way you explain your process, I think you also remove a lot of those objections. You mentioned it earlier, the control. That's so key in anything that you're selling here. I don't care if it's annuities, IULs, life insurance, infinite banking, a damn accidental death, whatever you're selling, that control is so key, because it sets that tone for the appointment, and you're setting it from the minute they message you. So I think that's, so I'm not surprised you don't get them. It's because you're removing them, you're preventing them beforehand.
Yeah.
What have been, like, what are the most common use cases? Are you doing are you talking about the tax-free retirement option? Is it more about saving? Like the ones you've written recently, what are some of the use cases?
I've been doing so many families, husband, wife, and kids. Okay. My favorite are, because, you know, my son, he's 10 months old. Yeah. And crazy, when I talked to you, I didn't have a
No, you didn't. I'm like, wait, I don't know your son. No, wow. Well, congratulations. 10 months later, Chantel.
Yeah, I have a whole kid, and I set his IUL up when he was 3 months old. You can set it up to 2 weeks, but at 3 months old, it's mind blowing. I'm a little jealous of his. Right. It's, you know, you don't have to put in that much for a kid versus when you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, you kind of have to, you know, put in a little bit heavier amount in that. So the kids, I mean, that's why I drill a lot of people in, with just like, with them putting in $50, $100 a month, $200, $300, or, you know, more, how it looks for them with buying their first car, you know, college, retirement for them. And I always show them an example of what my kids look like. Yeah. And then, of course, I show them what it'll look like for them. So to answer, I mean, yeah, I just, I push more on, I mean, I do more of like, it's a mixture. It's 50-50, the kids and the adults. But yeah, retirement, whenever you're like in your 20s, 30s, and then there's a mixture of, they want to utilize their policy a bit sooner. And I tell them, if they do want to do that, they need to put in a bit heavier amount of, like, depends on what age they are. But I'll show them what it looks like, maybe $500-600 a month, if they're trying to use that a bit faster. Of course, you know, after a good 12-15 years of, you know, like myself, you know, I have 2 on myself, so I'm not playing with mine until, like, you know, I have the one for retirement where I'm not touching. And then that's how it sells them too. Like, I give them my example of what I have about my
that's big.
You know, 2 IUL. So retirement and using it for investments, you know, for real estate and all that later on.
Yeah. And you know, that stuff's so important. The fact that you have them on yourself, you have them on your kids, and you can talk about them in the home. I remember when I used to sell, and whenever I talked about, I kept my IUL in my bag. Whenever I talked about IULs, I'd pull mine out and go, look, I've had this for X amount of years. Here's what it would be. And to your point, I still showed them their own illustration, but I always kept that with me. Yeah. And even just selling regular policies, like if I'm sitting there with a mortgage protection client, I will reference my own, you know, term return of premium that I have. And it's so big, because it's like, if you believe in the product enough to protect your own family with it, then it must be something good, right? It's like, you know, and it's not, I'm not saying everyone go buy every policy, but when you're in the home, and then a lot of times the clients ask, well, do you have something like this? Imagine going, no, I don't, I have kids, but I don't have any of this, but it'd be good for you.
Yeah.
How's that going to go over?
Like that's actually my number one. And I missed that. That's actually the number one reason why people get it, is because I give them the examples of, I have one for retirement. I have one that I'm using for, you know, real estate to buy land, you know, investments later on. And then I have one on my kid. It's over. Like it's just, you know, because it's relating. If they have a kid, if they want retirement, if they want to do investments. Some people don't even, this one lady, she signed up because she does not want no death, but she does not care about it. She has no kids. She's not married. But she was so in love with, like, oh my God, you know, because I told her why I'm using it. She's like, okay, can I put in, you know, a few thousand a month? And what will I do? So she fell in love with it because of, you know, just story sells, you know, not story. It's just, it was relatable that, you know, hey, I have it too.
Right. Yeah, it's relatable. It's real. You mentioned a couple of clients where they want to access that money earlier. What is that? So I guess what is earlier to you?
With an IUL, it's early is a good, maybe depending on how much they're doing, but if they're putting in a nice decent amount, maybe 8 to 10 years.
8 to 10 years. Okay.
Yeah, versus an infinite. I'm pretty sure you know about Scott G. There's the infinite banking whole life, not the basic whole life, whole other one.
Right.
That one with years.
Got it. So 10, and in that instance, now I guess where do they say to you, hey, I want to access it early? Is that something you offer up? Do you lead with that? Like when you're finding those policies, how do you get there?
If they want it sooner, I'll go back to Scott
Okay.
G. About the infinite bank, the other infinite banking one. But yeah, IULs, I tell them to let it. This is more for compounding long term.
Got it.
Yeah, depending on how much they're putting in.
Yeah, got it. Makes sense. And then, and are you doing a lot of this tax-free retirement stuff for the retirement? Like, how much do you talk about the tax-free loans and that type of stuff?
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites too. Like I give them an example of Legends again because I know his more than my policy, but when he turns 60, he'll have about 1.7 million.
Yeah.
And he can either take that lump sum or, he can have he can have an annual payout, of, I think it was like between 130, 180,000 a year coming in.
Yeah.
For 30 years. So, yeah.
So you just use that, hey, this is what my son's going to get. And obviously that, it helps sell it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's simple, right? Like the stuff we're talking about, and like I'm trying to see, hey, is there anything I'm missing here to why we wouldn't? But it's so simple. The key is the activity, right? It takes a lot of activity, though. I mean, the stuff you're doing on social, the booking the appointments, having your assistant help, then like there's a lot of work. So, but the concepts are the same.
Mm-hmm.
What you do in the house is very simple, or virtual. It's very simple, but it's just the key is being consistent and doing it over and over and over again.
And you just have to make sure you're not, I was making more, I think, you can make more as final expense, but with this, doing IULs, with minimizing the death benefit, remember, you're getting paid off of the cost of insurance. So it's a bit low, but I'm getting paid. I'm still getting, a decent amount just because of how many I write.
Yeah.
But you can be greedy in this business where it's like, oh, let me give you, like my clients, it's anywhere between $50,000 to maybe $120,000 of the face amount. And the premium is pretty low, but so if you're focusing more on the clients more than your commission, then you'll be set up with, how many clients, the referrals that you'll get with doing IULs.
Right. And I would assume the quality of business, the retention rate is much higher on these types of because this is, you're right. It's not, you'll get paid more. You'll do more on these others, but there's also 30% of those that are just going to fall off the books because of whatever reason. Are you seeing a better ratio with your IULs?
Oh my God. I don't think I might have had, how heavy I've been writing. Maybe one or two people. And I can't even think of them right now on top of my head. I don't want to say zero.
Yeah.
But I haven't had anybody cancel. I mean, you have those people who, who, insufficient funds and they're competing with me. But it's like my relationship, like from when I first started because I was still trying to get the hang of it to now, it's like we have a good relationship with these, I'm texting them and I'm nurturing my clients.
I got you. Last question. Do you know how many IULs you've written so far this year? Roughly.
This year, I just know on top of my head with F&G because I write them so much. Yeah. Maybe like 75 with F&G alone.
70? Wow.
Is that a lot? I don't know.
That is a lot. That's awesome.
I just go. I don't track numbers. My spouse is really good. She'll look at, the count, the commission.
God, we should have had her on with you then, so she could have told it. No, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. But hey, good stuff. But hey, 75 and only one or two canceling. I mean, I'm not the mathematician, but that ain't 30%. I know that. Not even close. That's like less than 1%. So well, hey, good stuff. I appreciate you hopping on, sharing. And if you guys have any questions for Chantel, please drop them in the comments. We'll reach out offline and answer them here next week. But the idea, or hopefully what you got from this, is it's simple. If you have a life insurance license, you work with us. Why are you not doing this? And you don't have to, I mean, this is what you do predominantly, but you could just add this to, you say, hey, I love mortgage, I love final, cool. But why are you not posting some content, generating some, interest on your own, or referral based, going to your old clients, whatever the deal is. And like you said, you sold a lot of final. There's a lot of you guys that did a lot of mortgage, and you have clients that are probably perfect age for these products, but it's just putting the work in to reach back out to them. But I appreciate the stuff you shared, Chantel.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mike, for having me.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us on SRS this week.